Since I was 6, since my nan gave me a book about Everest, that was my obsession. So first and foremost, it was to make a promise, to keep a promise to myself. My dad died when I was a teenager. The last thing I literally said to him was, I promise I'll make you prouder than you ever dreamed possible. Where it all started. So 2021, I agreed to row the Atlantic, and I just turned around to my mate and went, hey, imagine climbing Everest from England. And I kind of, this dream was just set in my head. I don't see things as impossible. That barrier that a lot of people would have in their head is what's normal, what's not normal. I just don't have.
What was the view like from Everest, man?
Oh mate, everything. Not only was it the longest climb ever, this year as well, I was the first person to get to climb Everest and get down out of about 600. Probably in less than 1% of the people in history that have seen that view, the Hillary step with no one on it. Like the whole world was just lit up. In that moment, it was like, oh shit, we're going to do it. And we're going to actually do it.
What's next for you?
Welcome to the PerformWell Podcast, the podcast for you if you're looking for performance and wellness strategies from top experts in the field, such as myself and Dan King. Please do like, subscribe, and follow us if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any other platform, because it really does help us get the message out and also help more people like yourself. Let's start off, guys. We've got Mitch Hutch. He is the man, the legend, all right, the myth, should we say. Mate, the first thing I'm going to ask you is why?
I mean, yeah, straight in. I mean, it started off with kind of mainly for because when people say they're not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for others just to raise money, it's not true. Like, the first person you should be doing anything for is for yourself. For me, since I was 6, since my nan gave me a book about Everest, that was my obsession. And so first and foremost, it was to make a promise, to keep a promise to myself. But then as things went on, my dad died when I was a teenager, and the last thing I literally said to him before he died was, I was going to make you, I promise I'll make you prouder than you ever dreamed possible. So that kind of became the main catalyst of main driving force behind everything moving forward. And but then loads of other stuff happened along the way. Like, I never expected it to kind of take off like it did, and I didn't even expect it to kind of do as well as it did in terms of following and stuff. You know, I didn't even know that it was a world record or the longest climb of Everest in history until a year after I planned it. It was only
it's 2 records, isn't it? It's the world's longest triathlon, and
the first triathlon to the top of the world,
and the longest sea to summit.
Yeah, the longest sea to summit. It's actually technically it's 2, because it's the longest sea to summit on foot, but also the longest overall non-motorized ascent. So obviously from Calais, it's 13,157 k, but the actual just a section on foot was over 1,200 k from the sea level, because that was always my dream, you know, to go from 0 to the top of the world. But the kind of extra, and you did it, mate. I mean,
how old are you? 32, right?
32.
I think it is, yeah. So obviously over the course of your 20s, was this something that you've been working towards all that time?
Oh, or yeah, literally since I was 6, like I say. So 16 is when it was started. 16, I was raising money for 2 years, just labouring with my old man, and that's when I flew to Africa on my own. Just turned 16 to climb Kilimanjaro. And that was, even then, I knew that was the first step to real step to towards Everest. You know, and so I started as quickly as then. But then Dad died 19, and then that's the first big dream which came around, which was the next step, in a way, which I didn't even realise properly, was joining the Marines 6 months after he died. I was just like, you know what, something we spoke about so much. This is the first dream I want to tick off my list. So let's just go for it. So that was the next one. But then after the 5.5 years was amazing, but I couldn't do all the things I wanted to do, all these big adventures and these real things that I was passionate about, obviously, because you're so restricted. So I had to just leave just to continue this, you know, and I didn't really know there was no plan, there was no solid plan. But then 2 months after I left, I just randomly got asked, do you want to row the Atlantic? So I was like, that's like one of the last true explorations and adventures you can do.
Did you ever get any inspiration from Bear Grylls?
Yeah. Back in definitely back in the days, reading all
I'm
that.
the same.
And since then we've connected. You know, it's really cool. It's quite strange. You know, he's a really nice guy. I just missed him on the weekend. But he's got his own festival. You've probably heard of the Bear Grylls Gone Wild festival.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
one in Norfolk and one in Exeter next weekend. But I'm speaking at both. So cool. Just missed him on the last one, but maybe I'll get him on the next one. But yeah, he's great.
Say hi for me, because I can't meet him yet. But
if I bump into him, God knows. But it was all a long journey, man. And then that's the pinnacle. But that's where it all started. So 2021, agreeing to row the Atlantic. Boom, 7 weeks of across an open ocean is a heck of a lot of time to think. So I remember we were probably about 1,000 miles across, and I just turned around to my mate and went, hey, imagine climbing Everest from England. and the kind of just dream was just set in my head. So I always wanted to swim the Channel. I always wanted to climb Everest, and I just had this light bulb moment whilst doing the Atlantic. What if I just link the middle bit and cycle? It kind of becomes a triathlon.
And didn't you say in someone's podcast recently about the English Channel being potentially harder than Everest?
Oh, I always knew it would be. There's a reason why over 5 times more people have summited Everest and swam the Channel. Damn. You know, it's a heck of a lot harder, you know, and I knew it would be. That's why I'd say good 90%, 95% of my training was just swimming. I did like no cycling, obviously no running or hiking, because there was no point doing any running or cycling, any running or hiking, because after 4 months of cycling 150k a day,
you've detrained.
You're completely conditioned to cycling.
Yeah.
So anything I did, but even the cycling, like I knew from cycling across the US, which was my kind of my head, it was my training package for the bike ride, you know, to do about 5,000k, half the distance. You know, you do half a marathon, you can do a marathon, you know you can do it. So I knew from that roughly how long it would take me and the toll it would have on my body and everything. And so that's why we did that. And then God, I got off tangent already.
That's all right.
Yeah, we got off tangent already.
That's what we're all about.
So that's kind of why I did that. And it was just, it was years, but so solidly, it was 4 years from when it actually became an actual plan in my head. It was a 4-year process, really. Well, 3 years, just over 3 years. I don't know. And again, like, it was just through luck and just keeping stupidly positive about everything. Somehow we managed to do it. Yeah.
What was more expensive, the build up to Everest or the Everest climb itself?
Expensive
in terms of like paying.
The expedition. Transport. Like it was just. I mean, we had no idea whether this was physically possible, let alone logistically, you know, and financially. I had no clue, and it was just do all you can and hope. So I had to quit. I quit work 18 months ago, back in February last year, with no idea how the hell I was going to do it. Honestly, like genuinely, like nothing, no savings or anything. I look after my mum, and I just knew the only way I'm going to be able to do this is to dedicate 100% of my life to it. You know, I was working as a bodyguard, like traveling around the world for this billionaire, but pay was okay, but like you just doing 12-hour shifts basically for a month straight. You jet lagged. You can't even have time to relax or train. And I was too tired to do anything, so I just quit. And just made thousands of calls, went to every event you can think of, like emailed everyone, and just grinded for 6 months, as well as pretty much swimming. That was my main focus. I was swimming, like, you know, smashing the swimming training whilst just trying to just get off the ground. We managed to get like maybe 5% of what was needed to get started, luckily, because I had Stan and Molly, my amazing team, come on last minute, and we managed to get just about enough to get going. But
so you didn't have enough. So you didn't actually have the expedition of Everest itself covered at the start.
Not even a smidget. No, I literally had about 5%.
Talk about belief.
5% of what was needed to finish when I started. So when I swam across that channel and I nearly died, just knowing that I might not make it out of Europe, or I might not even make it to the Middle East, I might not even make it to India, you know, and even if I do make it, I then might not be able to even climb Everest. So it was just so wild. I had to just break it down in my head and just completely block it out. And part of what my talks and the book dives into, obviously, is like all the ways of doing that, like compartmentalization, breaking stuff down, blocking stuff out, focusing on one step at a time and not thinking about anything else. You think about the big picture, your head will explode. And that's the only way I managed to get through these 19 countries and without even knowing whether I'd get there, let alone pay for it. I didn't even know who I was climbing Everest with until I think Iraq. I think I was in Iraq. I was in the Middle East when I kind of, it was like, right, it might be these, who knows? We'll try and work out a deal with them hopefully as we go along. Let's just see, you know.
That's what blew my mind when I was watching your YouTube videos. I discovered it probably about two months in to your journey. Like me and my girlfriend sitting there watching some YouTube.
During the cycle, then.
Yeah, the cycle. Yeah. I mean, that was obviously the longest, right? Ridiculous.
It was just a slog.
Hearing about you go through Iraq, though, I was like, I've seen the film War Dogs. I've heard about Iraq. You know, I've seen the dangers of Iraq.
But that's the thing, like, out of all the 19 countries on the whole planet, mate, by far, for me, the friendliest and the best people was Iraq.
Wow.
Beyond another level. Like, Baghdad is beautiful. The people are amazing. Of course, it's just got a bad reputation.
Something like 15 years ago, I think it is, that there was Marines there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends I know served in Iraq, and it's interesting talking to them about how, like, it's just because obviously it's not the actual people are incredible. You know, it's the level of hospitality in the Middle East, especially Iraq, is just like. It's nothing like the UK. Like we are nowhere near as friendly as them. Like, and they will bend over backwards to help you to do things for you. but not expecting anything in return, because that's their culture, because that is what they believe in their heart. It's so the best. Yeah, so the whole Middle East was the best for that, especially Iraq, but also Saudi Arabia, Oman, Pakistan was incredible for that. Yeah, it's amazing, incredible. Yeah, Islamic Muslim culture is far more welcoming than most. That's for sure. Definitely more than the Western.
More than the media is portraying at the moment.
Oh
Especially.
no, of course everything has troubles, but it's, as with anything, but it's 99% good. You know what I mean? And it's but unfortunately, social media, life, everyone just focuses on the 1% negative and not the 99% positive. Just like with social media, you know what I mean? That's why I'm working hard now, because even that, all social media is just diluted with negativity. All we can do is try and just inject as much positivity as we can, just a little bit, to show that's what matters. It's just such a shame that you have to work so hard when everyone else is just trying to spread crap, basically.
It's hard, isn't it? And this is one thing I want to touch on with you. How did you build up such a positive mental attitude to doing something?
I mean, most of it, I think I'm lucky, honestly. I've got ADHD. I've just grown up being that way. I don't see things as impossible. Like that barrier that a lot of people would have in their head is what's normal, what's not normal. I just don't have. I've never had, and I've just always been lucky that I have this optimistic view. The glass is always half full. It's never half empty, and it's easier for me to break things down. But it might be harder. I know lots of friends that are pessimistic to the bone, and it's harder for them to get into that mindset. Yeah, but it's not impossible. All it means is that they just have to work a bit harder to get that outlook, because all it is one tiny switch in mindset. All it is one tiny. It's just a perception. It's how you look at things. So I'm just trying to get people to just look at it this way, and if you look at it this way, then the whole world changes, basically.
So would you say you've had that since you were a child?
I'd say, that's what I mean. I've been lucky. I've been blessed. That I've literally, my whole life, I've just been through thick and thin. Even when my dad died, I've always just kind of had looked at the positive in things. You know what I mean? Like, I did the eulogy at his funeral, and it was just focusing on, he had 58 years of greatness, of incredible life, rather than he was taken away too early. Of course that's true, but literally it's how you look at the world. Whenever anything happens, you literally have a choice. You let it break you or build you.
How do we bottle that up then? How do we give that to people that don't have that baseline?
And there's no exact formula. It's just showing them that there's a way. It's showing them kind of what's possible, and just giving them examples of how it can work for yourself. Find your why. There's that very famous quote. Anyone with I'm trying to remember exactly now, even though I do it in my talk all the time. Yeah, anyone that has a great why can bear any how. Basically, and whatever it might be, the easiest way I can say to people to help them, it's the same as resilience. Resilience is simply, as Ross actually put it, resilience is just your own ability to strategically manage pain. It's very simple. It's as simple as that. And your strategy is very different to yours, it's different to mine. Every single person is different on this planet. Find your own. What's your strategy for dealing with pain? Emotional pain, physical pain, whatever it is. Find out what the strings to your bow are. For me, it's for myself, for my dad, for my mum, for the kids that I'm helping inspire, for the charity. So these 5 strings to a bow. They're mine. Yours might be, I don't know, you lost your mum. You want to make your kids proud. You've got kids, they're a massive one. Whatever yours is, find your reason, and then just focusing on that whenever something gets hard, and remember why you're doing it. And but there's no exact formula. It's just showing people there is a way.
I couldn't agree more with you, mate. It's honestly, we literally spoke about this just on the previous podcast as well, and I think it's such a prevalent part in society, and people need to kind of understand how important finding these purposes, these whys, these explanations, and understanding where your surface is from, like an epicenter. I mean, mine is, I saw my 2 grandparents in the last 2 years pass away. One couldn't breathe, one couldn't walk. And I'm like, why on earth would I not take the opportunity to stand up, move, walk, eat what I can when I can?
That's it.
Why? It's a blessing. And we should see it that way, in that nature.
That's it.
Now, the one thing I did want to ask you, you did say you nearly died swimming across the English Channel.
Of course, yeah, well, it felt like it.
What is the hardest part of this whole challenge that you went on? What is the hardest specific point that you'd say?
By far, day one, the Channel. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. It was just much worse than it expected to be. And it took about 6 hours longer than it was expected, at least 5 hours, because the weather came in. There was 13 boats, and ours was the only boat that pushed through the weather and got to France. Everyone else turned around. One guy turned around 500 meters from the beach. I felt so bad for him. But yeah, we just managed to push through. My tongue was literally disintegrating, falling to bits. My right shoulder was seized. I had tendonitis in all my left arm. I'd inhaled so much, aspirated so much water that I was basically drowning from the inside out. So starting off doing bilateral breathing was normal, and got to the point where, you know, after about 12 hours, so between 12 and 18 hours, the last 6 hours was just trying not to drown. It was like every single time you take a breath, like straight back up, gasping for air. And the swell was massive. And it was just literally like just hanging in there. It was more just floating for 6 hours.
And you weren't allowed to touch anything either, right?
No, you're not allowed to hold on to anything. No. You just, every 30 minutes, they basically lob you a bottle that you have to just quickly drink. And then you just carry on. So, yeah.
I mean,
but I'm so thankful
Ross
for
Edgley, he's ridiculous right now. Have you seen his Iceland fish?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's mad.
It's a human fish.
Yeah, but again, I mean, it's easy. Not saying it's easy, but you break it down. Like you say, he knows he's never going to go out in stupid conditions, and he's only for swimming for X amount of time. I don't know if it's the same as the UK swim. It's like 6 hour shifts.
I think it was 6 hours on and off.
Maybe, yeah. Which isn't, that's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but it's doable. You know, every time you go out, you just think, right, in 6 hours, the pain's over. No matter what happens, it's over in 6 hours.
Well, he was saying he might be able to relate to this because I don't know if you swam during the night as well. He said it was 18 hours, right?
Yeah, it was pitch black for the last 3 hours. Yeah.
Was there stars at the time? Was it quite cloudy?
I can't, mate.
Because
it was cloudy, probably.
Yeah, because he was saying that he saw the stars in the sky reflecting on the surface, and he couldn't tell which was up.
Yeah. That can be a bit disorientating. I think by then I was just completely dead, to be honest. Like, by the time the sun set, I'd already be swimming for 12 hours. So I'm not comparing it. So by the time the sun had set, I would already been swimming for like twice as long as he has.
I think imagine
so my
if
head
he didn't finish the swim, because that is the make or break.
That was it. So that's why 99% of my training was just swimming, because I knew like it all hinges on day one. It could all be over before it's even bloody started. So
and if you missed the weather window on Everest as well,
that was the other
thing.
Too late. That was the other thing. Like, and it was so just. Yeah, and I was so so when I finished the channel, I was broken for 6 days. I literally couldn't move. People had to sit me up in bed. I had to pee in a pint glass in the corner of the room because I've had to go downstairs for the toilet. It took 2 people to carry me, and it took me 6 days to be able to get on that saddle and then cycle 12,000 But it was tough. It was really.
So with that in mind, with the Everest weather window, those that don't know about Everest, there's a certain window of.
There's only like 3 weeks in a year, really. Like traditionally, you know, that weather window between May and April, end of April and like May. So basically, generally on the 28th of May, it stops. It stops, and it's opened around the 10th of May.
So how much of that was like accountability to like keep pushing yourself each day?
Oh, a lot, yeah. Because I knew anything can happen. You know, 18 countries, injury, sickness, visas, you know, getting knocked off the bike, anything could have happened. So it was just a constant anxiety every day for 8 months, basically.
Well, like that country where you couldn't go across the water.
Yeah, exactly. Like we couldn't go through Iran, so we had to go through the whole Middle East, which was amazing. But then we had to try and cross the water. We did everything we could to get a boat, so we didn't have to fly. In the end, I ended up doing over 1,000 over my original estimate anyway. Originally it was called Limitless 12,000 to Everest, but it turned into Limitless 13,157 to Everest because my maths is that crap. But it was, I mean, everything happens for a reason. It was just I'm so thankful I managed to go. We went through the whole of the kind of Middle East, Iraq, the Arab world. It was just amazing. Yeah, and we had to just jump that 400 of water, but we even went back towards 300 back towards the Iranian border and carried on from there. So pretty much from exactly where we would have crossed.
So you said swim was the most toughest.
Yeah, definitely.
What was the most dangerous?
The biking, 100%. Everyone thinks it's like Everest, but I came close to dying like dozens of times, more times, and I'm only just starting to kind of to process it. Like just 2 examples. Like I was cycling on the Iraq-Syrian-Turkish border just before finishing in Turkey, and I was chased by hundreds of dogs, but this massive dog just came out of me, and I literally had to swerve him. It was that close. It was like a Tibetan Mastiff type thing. Just about missed him. It looked like that anyway. And but I literally swerved this dog going at like 20 miles an hour into an oncoming lorry that had to swerve me, and it was this close. Coming into Baghdad, into oncoming traffic, because it was all closed on one side. They just don't really care. I hit a bit of gravel, and I had to save my. You know, when you've been on the bike and you hit a bit of gravel or something and you nearly go, and I nearly went. I just managed to like last minute save it, but in that exact moment, a lorry was coming at, like within 6 inches of me, on there. If I'd fallen over at that point, there's no doubt I'd be dead. Like,
apologies for interrupting this episode. We appreciate you've probably got really engrossed into it right now because our experts are absolutely fantastic. However, we did want to mention about our 12-week training program that we have recently launched called the PerformWell program. This program is focused at helping you lose fat, improve your confidence, and also energy levels all at the same time. If you're interested, all you need to do is go drop us a DM, or you can simply go through the link in our description, which takes 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
I mean, we have some very small relatability in the sense that last year we cycled the UK.
Well, you know what it's like
in 3.5 days, and like I had a situation where there was 150 dogs, big dogs. I don't know what you call them, but they're walking in my path, and I'm like, how do I get past you? And if I clip out, they're probably going to attack me because they think I'm going to attack their owner. So I'm just like trying to like go in and out. These dogs are like looking at me, like ready to go, and I'm like, fucking hell.
Don't make eye contact. Dogs,
man.
Yeah, we had that loads. Turkey was so bad. Yeah, that's why that's why I only bought my dog for the first 2,000k. Obviously, buddy, my golden retriever stayed with me.
Do you know what? The saddest part of your trip, I think, is the dog.
They had to go,
knowing that you can't see that. You ain't gonna see that.
Yeah, when I left him, I knew it would be 6 months until I see him again.
Knowing how long dogs live, and just knowing that's a huge percentage of his life is so sad. It made my girlfriend cry.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she teared up about it, and I was like, I feel sad about that.
She would like the video when we got back to the airport then.
He must have loved it when you got back.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, he was waiting for us at the airport with a t-shirt saying, wearing a t-shirt saying, "Welcome back, Daddy, we did it." Yeah, that was one of the things that got me through. Apart from just thinking about pub food and roast dinners, that was what made me want to get back.
I was going to ask you about this. Fueling for when you're doing something like this.
Yeah.
Can we talk on that a little bit?
No, yeah.
How the hell do you feel?
I mean, it was. I mean, I didn't. Again, I'm not. We worked with Loughborough University, the world's leading sports nutritionists, sports scientists. There was no solid plan. All I knew was, because I'm not nowhere near to the same knowledge as these people, but I knew as they told me, it was as simple as just I'm going to have to put on as much weight as possible before going, and just basically eat as much as you can, as often as you can along the road. You know, you can never plan. You can't plan. We didn't know where we were sleeping every night for 7 or 8 months, let alone like what we'd be eating. It was just, hard. Just eat what you can when you can. 56 days in India was tough to get the calories in, but I got a lot better with spicy food. But it was just, I mean, and I expected to lose more, but in the end, I only lost 17 kilos. Which could have been worse.
Well, I think you got food poisoning, didn't you? In
3 times
in India,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
day 2 in India, but 3 times in total.
Yeah.
But again, like I've had friends who they've had luckily it never lasted more than 48 hours, and I was back on the road. But the first time it happened in India on day 2, having just crossed the border from Pakistan, it was so annoying because literally, obviously, I just got into India finally, and I was like really excited. But but we were in a hotel and it was reheated rice, I think it was, and I woke up at I was awake till 6 a.m. both ends. It was just diabolical.
Yeah.
And because I only just got there, I was I was just so determined to carry on. I think I had 3 hours sleep and then done 100k, and then kind of just like sweated it out.
Yeah.
So the first batch, I kind of just got it out the way. But then luckily it was a while then before it happened again, but it did happen again.
So most of the time you're doing what we call zone 2 cardio.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. So it's not super intense, but it's just that duration.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's just it's just because it was all finding that balance between getting the mileage you needed to hit the target to get to Everest on time, but not pushing it too much that you don't, because that was a question. The question always was, after a 13,000k triathlon, is the body going to be then capable of climbing Everest?
Yeah.
That was always what no one, Loughborough, all these people, no one knew. We didn't know whether that was the question.
But for doing something that's so long, like, how do you feel now? Like, what's your mind doing now? Is it still kind of in that environment?
Completely fucked.
Because I'll be thinking, like, all that time you're thinking, all the time.
It's not even the physical damage. Like my knee is hanging out. Don't get me wrong. But like it was an 8-month adrenaline high and endorphin high, so I'm just crashed. So I've just been feeling really, really low and depressed the last month or two, and just walking around kind of in my own head and on the come down, But it's a chemical and hormonal imbalance basically. My body's just completely in shock, and it's just don't really know what's happening. I put 10 kilos back on somehow within the 3 months, which was great. So I didn't expect to put that on so quickly. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's going to take a long time just to get back into it slowly, I told myself I'm only going to do body weight stuff until I've back to doing the amount of press ups and pull ups I used to do in the Marines and stuff. But now it's like my girlfriend's in med school. She's just stopped med school actually halfway through, taking a year off to become my full-time like manager and PA. So she's an absolute superstar. I wouldn't be able to do it without her, including the book. She's great help with that as well. Anyway, so she's like now trying to get my hormones and my, get all my supplements just really on top of it to kind of just get the balance back. So my body's so I'm going to go back to doing a bit of weight training to try and boost testosterone, because low testosterone is it's very common with endurance events and endurance athletes and that. So I might not even have it, but I need to hurry up and have a full MOT. I need to have a full blood test basically and just check everything, check my heart, all my bloods. That's what I need to do.
Would you think about trying something like TRT then to help yourself out now?
Maybe, but we'll get back to see what the results are, you know what I mean, and then go from there. It's I mean, I'm not against anything, you know what I mean, I'm not against anything, but even just being on top of all the normal supplements right now is important, you know, everything. So I'm just popping these pills every day, just trying to get the body back in.
You sound like someone that, I mean, there's some athletes out there that will be more scientific focused when it comes to nutrition and training.
I should have been a lot more. Well, I didn't have time, genuinely, that's what I'm saying. So as I say, I literally had no team, no one. Just like quit work with just literally 6 months before the expedition, literally without a penny, how I was actually going to do it. I'd done the training beforehand, you know, the 2 years before, cycled across the United States, climbed down my Dablam, and all this. So I'd done loads of swimming training. So I'd done the kind of physical training, and I'd kind of been to Loughborough a couple of times, spoken to the specialists there and everyone. But I mean, actually, I didn't have the time to actually implement like a solid plan. I had no nutritionist with me on the bike ride, you know.
But this is the thing. Like, so I was a reservist, by the way. So I can relate to some of the things that I've seen people do in the military. Like, you guys are just built different. I've seen a guy chain smoke 2 cigarettes and run 1.5 miles in under 9 minutes. And it's just like, what the fuck? It makes no sense.
That's what I felt like when the Sherpas were smoking at Camp 3 on Everest.
That's crazy, what I mean. Man. So like, you don't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to be perfect.
No, absolutely not. Like, genuinely, like that's the whole point. I mean, the main message for my talks and any podcast or anything is you haven't got to be this super athlete, chiseled athlete, or genetically gifted to achieve like what is impossible.
But what's the saying in the military? It's the mind quits before the body, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's when they always tell you.
No, and it's so true. Like, we, you know, in the Marines especially, like I quote this in my talks and that, you know, we've got a sign down at the Commando training centre. It's just a little cartoon of a man saying, it's only pain. 500 meters to go, and that is such a relevant thing. You know, when we were rowing the Atlantic, I made that picture. We made that picture, and we put it's only pain, 500 miles to go. And but that's kind of, and then that's a whole new another whole chapter by itself in the book. In my talks is strategic pain management and everything like that. It doesn't matter how bad it is, how horrible it is, how painful it is. It's temporary.
I mean, this is probably an obvious question, but like, how much did the military help you with this?
Massively. I mean, it just helps to solidify the foundations that I needed to be able to really believe in this. You know.
So if you removed that, do you reckon you could have done it?
I mean, I hope so. Yeah, I still think so, definitely, almost definitely. But it would have maybe been a lot harder, and who knows whether I would have done it. But I still think I would have at least everything would have still happened. But it's helped so much, you know, to get into the Marines, to get into the military. You need to have that mindset anyway. You know, otherwise you won't make it through. But what it does do is it completely refines and harnesses and chisels everything: the discipline and the mental resilience, being uncomfortable.
And
that's what it helps with.
And to get your green beret as well, for those that don't know, it's so hard.
Yeah, that was my first
it's so hard.
That was the first dream to tick off the list.
Yeah.
But I've run out of them now, so it's like I need to think of some new stuff to do.
I was going to ask you this: what kind of resilience tactics in the Marines helped you with this event?
So the whole kind of like another chapter, you know, cheerfulness in the face of adversity. That's one of our ethoses, and you kind of learn how to do that when you're in and amongst it and getting just, you know, not sleeping for days and being horrible. Just being able to somehow smile through the shit, being able to just somehow smile again and know it, because you know that it doesn't matter if it's another day, another week. Eventually, you'll be back at home in that bed, and you'll have a cup of tea, and it will taste 10 times better than it normally would. You know, so that's kind of what helps me get through it. So that's one of the main mental strategies I'd use to get me through. That's one of the main reasons why I do it and why I try and get people to do it. And it's all proportionate. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's your first 5K walk or the first time you've ever had a cold swim or the first time you've ever gone wild camping. Just do it, because it doesn't matter whether it's that or whether it's an Everest expedition. Pushing yourself out of your little comfort zone just allows you to see the magic in the little things.
And as you spoke about as well, like, it's not like you just did this Everest thing. It was all this build up as well. And there's people out there that will look at your story and get inspired by it and want to do something equally impressive, but they haven't done any of this build-up stuff, and maybe they need to start somewhere smaller first.
Absolutely. Like
Couch to 5K, by the way, is a great
incredible. No, like one of the hardest things I ever did, as hard as Everest, equally as hard as Everest, is after I had knee surgery, my first 5K run, after coming back, like, I was in tears. Like, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. So it does not matter what it is, proportionate. It's all proportionate. You know, proportionality is the most important thing.
What's happened to your knee then? What's the problem at the moment?
Well, it's this one. I've had 2 surgeries on the right knee. First one was done when I was 19, about 6 months after my dad died. Just playing football, 5-a-side footy on an Astro pitch. I don't even like football. My mate said, "Do you want to come in?" Play? And it ends up like someone went to slide in, and I kind of jumped, landed, and I just went, and my knee stayed in one place. So yeah, nearly completely tore my ACL. My meniscus was torn completely, and it was just completely. I couldn't walk for a long time, and then on and off for like a year or two. Then I moved to Australia, and I ended up having surgery in Sydney, because that's where my family, where I was living at the time. My auntie was just like, just go and get it done, you know, because the health service there is 1,000 times better than in the UK, obviously. So yeah, within 2 months, I'd had like a full knee reconstruction done, as well as all this other surgery. So then when I came back to the UK, I just applied, obviously, because it was just after that during that time that my dad died. So I'd had the surgery. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I wasn't meant to be able to join. I told them I'd had surgery, but luckily there was no record on my British medical records. Wow. I had it done, so I just told them I had knee surgery, but I didn't tell them exactly what it was. I just said, "Oh, it's some type of surgery. I'm not too sure, meniscus or something." Because I wouldn't have even been able to join. Like, it's a complete ban of injury.
Military, like, when it comes to the
it's like asthma and stuff, you know. If that's, even though most of the time it is absolute bollocks.
I've got a client who's joined the Marines this year, actually, so I hope you got some advice from him after this. But he's doing a medical, and it is the hardest thing. Like, if you fail a medical, it's done.
Yeah, that's it. Anything like that, and I think they are becoming slightly better, because the amount of great blokes and girls, the amount of great people they lose because of something that maybe wasn't on their record 10 years ago, that they might not even have anymore. You know what I mean?
I was 18, and I was told by one of the recruits who was a captain. He was a captain who was joining the Marines. He said to me, "Don't tell him."
Yeah,
just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly what I did. That's what I mean. So, and I'm so lucky I did that. You know what I mean? I just didn't tell him, because I was going to deal with it one way or the other. There's only one way to know whether I was going to make it, and that's just to give it my all and give it my best. And that's kind of where the journey started. And that kind of kick-started the whole thing. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be here. Probably wouldn't be sat here now. So so thankful in a way for that knee surgery, because again, it's massive injury, doubt. It's all adversity, but adversity is power.
Well, it's interesting, because some would say having ADHD, from what you've told me, and also about being called lazy or difficult when you're a child. I think I saw this on one of your posts. Is normally a bad thing when it comes to trying to achieve goals like this, but you've proven
absolutely
that
not. No,
it's not.
It's not. Again, it's all perception. It's how you look at it. Yes, you have a choice for that to be your superpower, or for it to be like negative. As simple as that. And just find how to harness it. There's always a way. There's always a way around anything. And if you have ADHD, anyone listening, if you have anything, you know, that's your superpower. That is your superpower. I was just lucky enough that I hit like a certain age, and I just kind of channeled that energy into doing stuff that I loved, and I was just lucky to do it that way. But no matter what it is, you just have to channel it to yourself and make it your superpower. Simple as that, really. It sounds simple, and it's not, but it is true. But it is completely true. You always have you have a conscious choice to let something change you. It's as simple as that, or let it break you. It's very simple. And
there are more people nowadays being diagnosed with ADHD than ever before, aren't there?
Yeah, it's much more. People are embracing it more. You know, we're in a much more of an accepting, world now, which is great. And people are starting to not see it as a negative anymore, and starting to see it as a positive, as they should. You know what I mean? As they should. Just but it all comes down to proportionality. Everyone is very different. It's as simple as that. And it's nothing's good, nothing's bad. It's you. That's it. There's don't think outside.
I think one of the benefits of ADHD has been that ability to hyperfocus.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And for me, I was lucky, because I had an idea, And if I didn't like something, I would not be able to For example, maths in school, hated it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, literally, I think I got like, I probably failed maths. You know, I think I did. But like, if I'm interested in something or I like it, love and effort gets put into it, no matter what. But if I'm not interested, I just simply will not. You know, but then it means I get to hyper focus, and if I get an idea, like the world won't stop me until I've done it, and that is a great superpower. You know, the stuff I did like, you know, like anyway, ended up getting like A stars and the stuff I loved, and then failing what I didn't like. So it was like, that's the kind of, you know, but that's fine, because when you get in that stage at life, you know, it just allows you to channel, as I said, to channel that strength. So I'm thankful, so thankful for it. So it's great.
I think we'll touch on one last thing. What's next for you?
So as I said, like just trying to get my body and my mind back in reality. Like it's it's hitting harder than I thought it would. But mainly just to get everything in order and to write a book and to get this done and to spread this message as far as possible. Motivational speaking is what I'm trying to get into the most. So trying to just, again, spread that message as much as we can. But next year, there are some big stuff coming. Hopefully I'm working with loads of cool people and loads of cool challenges on the horizon in the UK, abroad. But the next big one will probably, it was going to start in January, but the next kind of big challenge will start next year. We'll start probably next August, which involves the 7 summits and the poles as well. So
nice.
I'm just gonna. But this time, what I can say is it's not going to be like I've got no. Everyone's like, "How are you going to top this?" I don't care. It's not about topping it. It's literally not. It was, for me, it was just combining all my dreams into one, and I'm never gonna top an 8-month longest climb of Everest in history. Like I'm not. I don't care. Like so the next, and also being away for 8 months, but it's a lot of strain in your relationship, you know. And I love my girlfriend and I want to have kids soon. So So next time will be more of like go away for a month, come back. Go away again for a month, come back. You know, like I can still achieve all my stuff, all my dreams.
Could I ask one question though? What was the view like from Everest, man? The top of it.
Oh mate, everything.
When you got up there, and because I think you were one of the first, right? I saw you had.
Yeah, there was a couple of other. So ironically as well, not only was it the longest climb ever, but that this year as well, I was the first person to get to climb Everest and get down out of about 600.
Crazy.
So all down to the incredible team of AGA, my team, and the logistics of my team, Adriana and Gelgi, both incredible. I was the only client they had, so we just managed to get the oxygen where it needed to be, ready. As soon as the green light was given, we were gone. So we were so lucky. But everything that I dreamed of since I was 6, when I first read that book, I went into had an out-of-body experience for 4 hours. I thought I was going to get frostbite. I just wasn't focusing on anything. Again, compartmentalization. I was just repeating 2 words to myself. Gelgi, oxygen. Gelgi is my Sherpa and my brother. So Gelgi, oxygen. Gelgi, oxygen. I literally looked down for the last 4 hours and I repeated them 2 words to myself over and over for 4 hours, and I'd never looked up until finally he like shouted at me, and I kind of literally snapped out of it, and we were at the South Summit and there was no one there. Like probably less than 1% of people in history that have seen that view of the Hillary Step with no one on it, and the whole world, like the sun was coming up, like the whole world was just lit up, starting to light up below me, and it was like in that moment it was like we're gonna make it. Like we only had a couple of 100 meters to go. That was the first time I was like, oh shit, we're going to do it. We're going to actually do it. And that was amazing to have that, not a single person on that Hillary Step. It was, it was amazing. But I was very lucky as well. Very lucky at the same time.
Mate, I really appreciate your time today. I wish.
Sorry I was late, boys, but definitely.
It's fine. It's fine.
Cracking.
I wish we had 2 hours, 4 hours. You know, it'd be so much to learn from you. And you're an interesting guy. And you just chat. Chat. It's very relatable.
Chat the chat.
Do you get what I'm saying? Chat the chat.
Chat the chat.
But
yeah, awesome stuff. Well, mate, look, we plug our guests that come on this podcast, and we'd love to share, obviously, your story further. So where can people find more about you?
Yeah, so cheers, guys. Well, I'm still fundraising for the charity that we're raising money for. They make mental health courses for veterans and help save wildlife called SAVSIM. So everything, just go over to the Instagram, basically, because it's all on there, on the bio. The link to the charity, the link to the YouTube series, everything. It's just search Mitch Hutch. Easy as that. Cool. So it's _ Mitch Hutch, MITCH, HUTCH. Easy as that. If you can head over there, that'd be great.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for liking, following, subscribing. And we'll catch you guys in the next podcast. Catch you later.
Ciao, ciao.
Sick.